Take a playful look with Enfys Book as they roll for crit hits with pagan wordsmiths.
Hi there, and welcome to 4 Quick Cues Book Talk with Enfys. I'm Enfys Book from MajorArtQueerness.com, and this is the fun little show where I interview pagan authors by rolling a dice to choose the questions. With me today, I'm super excited to introduce you to Thorn Mooney.
Hello.
Hi. Thorn Mooney is a witch of more than 20 years and the High Priestess of Foxfire, a traditional Gardnerian coven thriving in the American South. She holds graduate degrees in religious studies and English literature and has worked as a writer and a tarot reader. Thorn maintains a long-standing YouTube channel and has been blogging about witchcraft and the occult for more than a decade. She's also a regular at pagan festivals throughout the United States. And this is her latest book, which is The Witch's Path, Advancing Your Craft at Every Level.
Yay.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And
happy to be here.
Having taken your class on this yesterday, we're recording at the Sacred Space Between the Worlds Conference 2023. I can say, based on that class alone, I'm going to love this book.
I hope so.
It's such a helpful and useful class for visioning, where I want to go as a witch and what it's going to take to get there. So is the book much the same, I'm assuming?
Yeah, my emphasis is definitely a pragmatic one. I feel like there's a lot of folks out there writing about the magical, the spiritual, the esoteric. This is much more, but have you cleaned your room?
Right.
Do you know how to discern a good book? Like that's a little bit more my vibe.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. All the Virgo in my chart is saying yes to that. Great. Have you ever been interviewed by a dice before?
What if I said yes?
I want to hear
No, I
about
haven't. I'm lying to you.
Hey, I've been surprised before. So what would you like to name our dice for the purposes of this interview?
I am a little bit of a traditional girly, and in the honor of Holy Week, let's name it John.
John. All right. Hey, John, what's our first question going to be? Looks like it's question number 9. How would you describe your current spiritual path in a sentence?
Somebody please send help. And that's all, no context.
That's a big vibe for 2023.
Right. Can I have a semicolon in my
Please.
sentence?
Yes, of course.
Everything is really hard, semicolon. And we're all just trying to figure it out.
Truer words never spoken, my friend. Amazing. All right, John. Question number 2 is our writing question. That is number 5. If you had a megaphone to broadcast a 1-sentence message about your favorite subject matter to the whole world, what would it be?
It's so nerdy.
I'm a nerd.
I feel like Emile Durkheim's sociological theories are still really useful in pagan spaces. Sometimes I feel like we're so interested in new stuff that there's a lot we can learn from old stuff that we just don't read or don't think about or have been told is too hard for us to understand. And there are so many things out there. And I found valuable things in places that are surprising. And I think all of us could potentially do that in whatever we're passionate about.
So tell me more about Emile.
No. So I do, I'm an ethnographer, like by training, and I do ethnographic work of evangelical groups and particularly megachurches. And Emile Durkheim has a lot of really useful things to say about how people in social groups behave. He's been called the father of sociology, and he has a lot to say about the differences between magic and religion, which are really terrible, actually, but still like kind of fun to play with. But the way he talks about how we interact in groups, I've obviously found useful in my church work, but it's kind of fun to play with in pagan spaces too, right? Is, collective effervescence, this idea of like a shared kind of emoted energy that unites us as a group. Like, is that magic? Could we think of it as magic? I just think it's really fun to play with.
Sounds amazing. All right. So question 3 is the one that's like other professional pagan questions. So, highest roll yet, 19. That is, what is the most challenging part about teaching?
People.
Yeah.
I am deeply introverted, and I don't think that that's visible to a lot of people. And so I need to do a lot of like mental prep. I don't do well with like time changes and you get this room now. And it's not because I'm a diva. It's because I've like rehearsed the thing in my head for so much that when there are changes, I have to like renegotiate the plan in my head. And after I've led a workshop or a ritual or whatever the thing is, I need some serious downtime. And I'm constantly telling people, I love you, but I can't say words. I have to eat.
Yep.
Right. Or like, I need to go be in a dark space right now. But you're great.
And you're very good at doing that. I think the first words you said to me were, I love you, I just need to eat right now. And that's totally fine because I absolutely understand that urge. So awesome. All right. Well, random encounter. Why don't you roll this one for us?
Ooh.
Roll the 2 and we'll see. This is our random encounter question.
Random encounter question.
1 and 10. What is something odd someone did for you once that cheered you up unexpectedly?
I don't know. Cheered me up unexpectedly. I do so much mental planning. I don't know how much is unexpected. It's all very rehearsed. Marcus Ironwood, who is, he's a publicist at Llewellyn, and he's out in the community. He's run magical bookshops. He's a great person. But he will periodically send me books or tell me stories about other things in the community. And it's a small thing. And he's a publicist, so like, sure, it's his job, but like, I'm not exactly an influencer. He still includes me, and it makes my month every time I get a package from Marcus.
Big mood, big same. Yeah. I basically, the first time I got a box of books from Marcus, I kind of laid them out all on the floor and just sort of went, like covered myself in the books for a minute because it's just like, yes, this is so good.
Well, remember being like, and not being able to afford the Llewellyn books. And I don't know, like you go to the library and maybe you can get a Time Life, something.
Right.
And now like, I just have books delivered to me that I didn't even ask for.
Yes. It's like the best Scholastic book fair ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's all of the scary stuff that your mom wouldn't let you buy.
Exactly. And it's free. Yeah, books are amazing. I had another thought on that. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, it's flown out of my head. So that is the 4 quick cues. Thorn, tell us what you are most excited to tell our audience about today.
What am I excited about? I know that social media life is kind of uniquely terrible in this particular moment and this year, and I'm really excited to connect in meat-based communities. Like this particular festival we're at right now has been a long time coming. It's been put off for several years. And I forget or have forgotten, because I love the internet. I'm big on social media, like it's great. But I forget sometimes how different it is. And it's so easy to think that they're just expressions of the same thing or they're whatever. Like there really are some stark differences that I think it's not like a better than necessarily, but it's really wonderful to have the reminder that just because TikTok gets banned or Instagram is now evil or whatever, like, you know, Twitter is dead to us, we can still find other ways to connect. And we're just going to find more new ways to connect. So that's really exciting.
I love that. And I'm just going to say during your class yesterday, which was very interactive, which I appreciated, there was a lot of, hey, a lot of you are probably here trying to meet your new witch besties. We're going to facilitate that. Everyone get up, move to, you know, find someone you don't know and just real quick tell them like your name, where you're from, and like one thing about what your path is like. And that was super fun. And I'm like, yeah, why don't I do more of that at these events? You just sort of get in here, you get your blinders up and focused on these are the things I must do at this event.
Yeah, can you tell I was a classroom teacher?
Yes, I absolutely could. And especially when you clapped to get our attention with the rhythm, which I'm not going to do to blow out my mic right now.
It works on the little ones. It works on grown-ups with magic powers.
Absolutely. Well, and also let's tell folks about your book, which we talked about at the beginning, but reminder to go check it out. The Witch's Path, Advancing Your Craft at Every Level from Llewellyn came out 2021, if I remember.
Yep.
Awesome.
Working on a new one now, but I'm really proud of this one just because it is so ruthlessly pragmatic. If you've been feeling bored or burnt out or overwhelmed, it's got real stuff that you can do right now. It's not, I mean, like rituals and spells and that kind of stuff is great, but I think there's a pragmatic element that we often don't talk about.
Yeah.
So this is for that, and I think it's applicable for all types of practitioners at all levels.
And you are also a co-author on The Taurus Witch coming out as well, correct? What is that coming out in the next couple of months?
Yes, that's coming out this summer.
Awesome.
One of the J months. I don't remember. It's going to be really fun. It's the Taurus volume. And again, it was funny when I was asked to participate in the series. Ivo Dominguez Jr. and I were talking, and he was telling me about this idea he had and what he wanted to work on. And I was like, well, Ivo, I'm not really an astrology girly. Like, I use it, but I'm not one of those folks who you would necessarily associate with astrology. And like, you know, my advice would be like really pragmatic and really practical, and maybe it would bore people. And he was like, Thorn, that is the most Taurus thing I've ever heard. Shut up and please like write this. And I was like, oh yeah. So I'm psyched about it.
I'm super excited to read it as well. That whole sun sign series that Llewellyn is doing is, I think, kind of genius. And the fact that they have so many different contributors. It's like, for those who haven't learned about this, Ivo Dominguez Jr. is the main writer on the whole series, but then there is a secondary author who is a witch of that particular sun sign, who will write about their experience being that sun sign. And then there's additional contributors who added like spells and recipes and things like that. So who are also of that sun sign. So I think it's going to be one of those series that really endures over time.
I think so.
And
it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm really excited about that. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on 4 Quick Cues Book Talk with Enfys. Boy, I renamed the show there for a second. If you really enjoyed this episode, please do the thing and like and subscribe and leave a review on your podcast app of choice. You can check out more content from me at majorarqueerna.com, which is spelled MAJORARQUEERNA.com. And whatever time it is where you are, have a fantastic day, and may the dice of fate roll well for you.
Thanks for listening to 4 Quick Cues.
This is Enfys J. Book again. Tune in next time when you'll hear author Diana Rachel say,
And my timer went off, and I stood up thinking, be nice, and what came out of my mouth was, gentlemen, kindly get the fuck out of my room.